All right.
Hey, my name's Jason Lee Morrison. I'm on with Marcus Sylvanus. This is The Perfect Fucking Life. This is podcast number 0000001, because I'm sure there can be many. Thanks for joining me, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. We're just going to talk about important shit, I think. That's the plan anyway, but we'll see how it goes. So I just want to splash this up on the screen real quick. We are somewhat sponsored by Veteran Trash Talk. And that is, hold on, I'm going to work this out. Fuck it. Anyway, Veteran Trash Talk is if you haven't dialed into their stuff, they're fucking awesome. They've supported me since I got in touch with them after I wrote my book, The Perfect Fucking Life, which is right here. I wrote this in the throes of navigating my way through PTSD, and they have helped me very much in many ways, one of which is kind of finding a little bit of confidence in myself, really, to put my book out there, because you have these thoughts, Marcus, and you write them down maybe, or you keep them in your head somewhere, and you're just like, this is just something that I go through, and maybe it doesn't apply to anyone else, but turns out, like, holy shit, a lot of people, it really it resonates with people. So
it's really vulnerable to do it.
Well, that dude, exactly. And here's the thing, if you don't fucking put yourself out there, then you can't no one can identify with you. Only the squared away, never had a problem in their life people. And I've never met one of those, especially amongst us veterans.
Right.
Can identify with it. And, it's not just us veterans, but dude, so many of us have post-traumatic freaking stress from one reason or another. I have it from combat, and I have it from past relationships and a lot of things. So that was just my navigation through it all. But the Veteran Trash Talk guys, they brought me on their podcast, and they said, hey, we'd like to be very happy if you were to do your own thing, and we'd splash it up on our stuff. So very cool of them to do so. So anyway, Marcus here is a buddy of mine that I met virtually, as actually a lot of my close friends are now, because of COVID. Has been really cool, because trial kind of does that. It opens up new things, and it's everything's virtual now, so it's fucking awesome, man. I've got to meet you, Marcus, and just through some of my stuff that I've been splashing up on social media, we've kind of has resonated with you, and we've gotten in touch and bullshit about it. So anyway, just tell me a little bit about yourself, my friend.
Well, okay. Well, I was born in West Virginia. Like I was telling you the other day. This is how stupid I was when I joined the Corps. We were totally insulated back in those days, and I'm not sure if it was the same way where you grew up or not. Maybe it was by virtue of being in the mountains. But I didn't know that, like, I was like 2 years into the Marine Corps, and I didn't know the CIA was like a real thing. I thought it was like something that was made up in movies, because man, movies were just my conduit for everything, I mean,
brother, I grew up in Indonesia, man. Like, I know I used to listen to the Voice of America on the radio and be like, whoever's talking right now, that dude's in America. Like, holy shit, that's crazy. Yeah. So I know I was totally removed from everything, and then I joined the Marine Corps. So I could definitely identify with you there.
Yeah. It was rough growing up. I'm putting it mildly. Anybody that's from Appalachia knows what I'm talking about. The entire region was dependent upon the coal mining industry, which was going down when I was coming of age, and is now gone.
Huh.
And there wasn't much else around there. And people would want to stay because it's their ancestral homes, right?
Yeah.
They feel a connection to the earth there. And I moved. Obviously.
Where are you now?
I'm in Southern California. I'm just outside of 29 Palms. I'm in.
What the fuck, bro? You moved. you, you moved to 29 Palms.
So yeah.
Jesus. No, I'm just fucking with you.
So I bought a house. I bought a house. I got out of the Corps, and I was contracting on 29 Palms. And I got divorced, and I kept the house and got a new wife. And that was almost 7 years ago.
Dude. Yeah, man. It's crazy you mentioned that, because it's something that a lot of vets go through, divorce. And every single one of them that I've talked to is like, dude, I've been in 3 fucking wars, and I have never dealt with anything as difficult as a divorce. That shit was hell.
Yep.
Especially kids and everything. Like,
yep.
That's the hardest thing I've ever been through. And it's something that, as you know, I still deal with every single day. So
yeah. And unfortunately, me and my current wife, there's still baggage that I project on her. Like there's still things that I tiptoe around her about because it was something that was edgy in my marriage before, and so she's paying a price now because of issues from my last marriage. But I think the biggest thing is I got out of the Marine Corps, right? I got out for my family. Dude, I got out to be a dad. I got out to raise my son, to raise my daughter. And then within 2 years, it had all fallen apart, man. Like, I didn't understand that at first, but I look back in retrospect now, and I do understand it, because that status quo was comfortable for everybody. Me being gone, even when I was here, I was trained, and she made all the decisions.
Dude, that's funny, because it's not funny at all, but it was about 2 years after I quit deploying that my whole world fell apart. In my case, there was definitely some shit on the radar for me, but I didn't know. There's a lot that goes into that. But I think, like I said, as veterans and anyone who's been through a divorce, man, when you're tearing a family apart, especially when you're like making overtures to try and like renew that, to reinvigorate it. That's why I quit deploying. I was in the Marine Corps. I got out after the invasion. I thought the war was over. Like I said, in 2003, I did the invasion with 2nd Force Recon. And then I came back and I'm like, there's nothing else going on. I was trying to move on to other things, and those doors wouldn't open in the military. So Marine Corps wouldn't let you leave and go to other certain places, that secret squirrel shit that I wanted to do. And so I was like, you know what? I think I'll get out, go see what else is out there. And then the war blew up again. It kicked off. So I started deploying again. And it must have been, first part of July 2004, I showed up in Ramadi. And as a contract for probably not allowed to say their name, or the fucking have some issues with me or whatever, but large contracting company. It was
sure.
Anyway, I worked for State Department and other organizations overseas until like 2011. And I got married in 06. So like in the middle of that, met someone who got married, but same thing as deploying constantly. It was like 3 months on, 3 months off. Usually less than that, because the more time you get on the ground, the more you got paid. So, we were basically mercenaries, but we had the nice moniker of working for the State Department or whoever we worked for. Anyway, I came out of combat zones, and then within 2 years, dude, it all just started like within months. I could kind of tell, like, what the hell's going on here? Like, why am I struggling with this shit?
Mhm.
And because I didn't know, I didn't know. I've never been a fucking civilian before.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was a high school kid, then I was then 15, 16 years later, I was a civilian. I didn't know how to fucking deal with it. And that's when it started like crashing down around me. And when it rains, it pours. So yeah,
That's the darkest place I've ever been in my life.
brother, crying
Yeah.
myself to sleep every night. Yeah.
Yeah. Drinking
man.
myself to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit, brother.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. And it's not, I'm not gonna say it was like they did this or they did that or I did.
It takes
I don't know
two.
what the fuck happened? I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah, it definitely takes two to tango.
It takes two. I mean, there's things that I did that really screwed up my relationship with my ex-wife, for sure. No doubt about it. And I own those, but I don't own the totality of it. Because in the end, this is going to sound mean to say, she might hear it, but in the end, she quit.
Dude,
And I think sometimes
I quit. So, but
everybody's got their line. Everybody's got their line. But
fuck you for doing this on my first fucking podcast, man. This is the most difficult shit in my life, and you're bringing it up like right out the gate. But it's good. It's good. Actually,
balance of
I
action,
think
right?
both of us quit on each other.
Yeah.
And I never ever want to cast doubt upon the parent of my kids. I actually, frankly, I don't have a relationship with my kids right now, which is the worst part of my life. There's a lot that goes into that, and everything I do, the reason I wrote this fucking book, the first and last pages are dedicated to my kids. It's a letter to my kids. Now, some parts in this I hope they never read because there's pretty gnarly shit in there. Yeah. But actually, I guess I wrote it because I wanted them to know who their dad really is, because I didn't have a relationship. I haven't had a relationship with them in years, since probably 6 years or so. And I missed the hell out of them. And at least one of them doesn't want to have shit to do with me right now. But my whole purpose in life is to change that. Really. I don't know where that comes from, because it's weird when you're in combat, the guys that are married and have kids. Did you ever notice this? It affects them differently.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And it affected me differently as well. As soon as I had my son, I cried my eyes out at the airport leaving.
You're more careful.
Yeah.
You start thinking about decisions maybe a little bit too long. Maybe you're not aggressive enough. That was what I experienced anyway.
Well, remember in the 80s in the Marine Corps, they wouldn't even let you join the fucking Marine Corps if you were married.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. And frankly, I kind of wish I had that attitude a little bit more now, because the attitude was more of like, hey, what's our purpose as a fighting force here? Are we around to like make people happy, or are we around
right
feel really bad, maybe bleed out?
Yeah.
Like all this, and I don't mean to change the subject so drastically, but we were talking about this before we got on the call here. What the fuck's going on, man? Like, you can't call fucking male officers sir. You can't call female officers ma'am anymore. Like, I think, come on, you sons of bitches, you want to live forever? Come on, like, what the fuck is going on with my Marine Corps right now? And the MARSOC 3 guys hung out to dry because we got in a bar fight.
Yeah.
And have you seen the video of that shit?
No, I haven't.
It's a shit show. The
Is this Knopfler?
no,
No.
forget the name of it. It was a contractor, and then three MARSOC dudes, 2 Marines and a corpsman. And actually, the trial is going on right now. And if you watch the footage, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible here because I don't care if you're Marine. The contractors are former SF guys, so there might be some. In all respect to SF guys, fucking love them to death. Worked with them a lot. Great motherfuckers all the way around. But this dude was not a one-punch wonder. He was a big, hefty motherfucker. And apparently there's footage of him talking shit to people in the bar and this and that. And we've all done that shit before, but he was a hefty dude. And then there's footage of them outside the bar, and there's some words and pushing and shoving that goes on. And then one of the Marines hits him because he hit one of the Marines' buddies. And then you see the guy just hit the ground like a sack of shit. And like you can see his head just smack into the fucking pavement.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. And he ended up dying. The corpsman immediately ran over there and started administering aid. And administered aid to him all night until he fucking died. And according to some reports, he died from his own vomit, suffocating on his own vomit, etc. He's pretty intoxicated, according to the footage and everything. But now we're I guess my point is like we're burning people to the ground just to. I guess it's kind of a Marine Corps thing. When I was in Okinawa, we used to do this shit. We'd make a minor fuck up and then just beg the shit out of everyone for forgiveness for. But defending yourself, as far as I'm concerned, isn't minor. But now they're trying to ruin 3 Marines' or 2 Marines and 1 sailor's life. Like they're literally fighting for. They might be in for 22 years or more. The careers are already fucked over this whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, it is. You're right.
But we're at the verge of facing a potential world war.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the Russians in Ukraine. The Russians have thankfully proven themselves to be pretty inept, thanks to their own strategy and fucking. Thankfully, communism has more bureaucracy wrapped up in it than capitalism, even.
It's insane, right? Like who would have thought that they would have been so centralized in their decision making?
I know, haven't they been watching us and taking notes? Like
right.
What we've been doing, and we've been fucking up. Like I was there in an invasion, and we sucked. Actually, we did.
Yeah, we did.
We were not as fucking on point as we should have been. I remember lieutenant colonels freaking out. No one knew what to do. We hadn't been at war in ages. And I saw this. I was in Israel during the Hezbollah Israeli thing. And these Israeli kids would come back from the front and be like, oh shit, man, they were in fucking the Hezbollah guys were in Israeli uniforms. They were flanking us. We didn't know what the fuck. How did they got their asses kicked for the first little while of that war. It takes you about 8 to 10 months to figure out how to fight a war again. And remember, it was like, that's why there was that lull when I got out of the Marine Corps. You had 03. We rolled in there, just brute force.
Yep.
And probably overkill. Definitely overkill.
Definitely.
Talk to first LAR.
Yeah,
God bless.
No doubt.
God bless them. But running point for the whole thing. But it takes a while to learn how to fight a war. Right. And we're seeing that but the thankfully the Russian bureaucracy, which is part of communism, is slowing them down in the way that they're developing, in the way that they're responding. Because the Ukrainians, they had to respond with not with just their military, because they were totally Soviet doctrine, but they then suddenly integrated all of these civilian motherfuckers. I know of it was a civilian drone manufacturer called Aerorodvitska. And actually I've been working with them somewhat professionally a little bit, trying to help them out a little bit. But it's there that outside the box thinking from the commercial side that has really, that they became a military unit, then they became an NGO, but the whole time they're still bombing Russians with their drones. So it's probably the first NGO that's like a combat NGO, which, but they've had great effect because they build the equipment, then they field it, then they utilize it. And I think that the necessity of having to bring all that civilian, like, I wouldn't even call it ingenuity, I'd call it panic, but panic inspires innovation, right?
Yeah, it really does though, right? I mean,
yeah. So they've reached out to everyone they could. They couldn't just rely on their military. And so the outcome of that was that they're much more forward thinking than the communist way of thinking that was the old Ukrainian military way of thinking, which is the present Russian paradigm. But the problem with the Chinese is they have this deal hooked up with their industry within their government. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but basically they can flip a switch just like we did in World War II and all of a sudden bring all this industry to bear on their war effort.
that's right.
And that's much more agile than we're capable of. So that's actually one of the things that I'm trying to do on the business side, is trying to like get the DoD to reinvigorate, like revitalize our processes of taking in new, not just new technologies, but new ideas and fielding them as fast as the speed of war.
It's such a horrible process, man. I dealt with it when I worked at McTog, because we were trying to get a different simulation that was going to do something else that our program of record couldn't do. And everybody, the gatekeepers are everywhere, man.
Oh man,
everywhere.
They're baked in.
They're little empires. And it was just
exactly the reason it costs so much to do anything for the DoD is because of all the bureaucry. You got to pay for all that shit.
Yeah. It's opposite of it's opposite of war, where war is an absolute exercise in absolute creativity. Whoever's the most creative, the quickest wins.
Boom.
That's how you win a war.
Absolutely. And the faster you can get an idea to the front lines, that motherfucker wins. And it's not just a one-time thing. It's not just, hey, I just made the F-35, which by the way took us 35 fucking years to do. It's that idea. And then the next idea is the next fucking day, because the end user gets this thing into their hands. Is like, hey, this knife won't disarm fucking mines. Well, guess what that's called? That's called, called a complaint. That's called a requirement. Right. And you bake that in the next day and you just keep spinning and keep staying ahead of the speed of technology. Like, how fast is it? I guarantee you Apple right now, what iPhone 13 they're on right now or something like that. I guarantee they're working on iPhone 16 right now.
Shit. And it's already got something on it that you absolutely needed. You didn't even know you fucking needed it.
Exactly.
It's how great they are.
They're working on it right now while they're fielding this one.
Yeah.
But we just do this thing. Well, here's this, go run, go kill people with it. Have a good time. Like, no, we need to be rapid enough. And actually, I've worked with some software companies that have done this and actually made a great name for themselves, because they were sitting right next to the guys bitching about the problem. They had field service reps out there. And every time a field service rep would be like, hey, this thing doesn't pound in nails. Well, it's a fucking knife. It's not supposed to pound in nails. No, fucking wrong answer. Go back and make it pound in nails. That's what they need, right?
Right.
If you can spin it that fast, so that's the only way to stay ahead of someone that can outproduce you, like the Chinese.
Right.
And plus, not just outproduce you, but overwhelmingly outproduce you.
Yeah, it's scary, right? I mean, it is really, really scary. There's a book I read years ago called Death by China, and I can't remember the author. But this is maybe 8 years ago I read it, and I kind of thought that it was a little crackpotish at the time. And today I'm like, holy shit. Oh my God. And then there's Chinese investors like going through our neighborhood right here and buying
Hmm.
properties up. It's insane.
It's not. See, Americans think very kinetically. It's like, hey, we see a problem, we're going to go attack it head on.
Yeah.
And pragmatism, American. So like I said before, I grew up in Indonesia, right? So I don't. My parents were Americans, but I grew up in Indonesia. So I'm as American as you can be. I love this country. Like I said, I used to listen to the radio and be like, oh, it's America. Like, I love that fucking place. I remember looking out of the window of an airplane, like for 3 hours on the way back to the US, looking to see my first glimpse of the United States. You know, I fucking love this country. I came back to here when I was 18, and I was plunged into a place that I didn't know shit about. But because of it, I see things very, I see things through like a third party lens almost. And this American pragmatism, everyone, like I've seen it on resumes where people, where I'm vetting people for hiring them. And like, I'm a pragmatic thinker. And that is not a good thing, man. Why are you boasting about that? Pragmatism means that you are only concerned about the first order of effects.
Right.
And you have seen it over in Afghanistan and Iraq. The first order of effects. Oh yeah, you drop a JDAM on a fucking on a little village. Great. You just blew up their fucking well.
Right.
Now they're pissed.
Yeah.
Now all the fucking clams and everything are mad at you because you just blew up the only water source they had.
Yeah.
And the second, third order of effects are going to last 8 years until they build a new fucking well, and they're going to hate you the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
The second and third order of effects last like orders of magnitude longer than the first order of effects.
Yeah.
And American pragmatism. This is why we have the problem with Stinger missiles in Afghanistan shooting down fucking, and we're worried about them shooting down airliners. It's the same goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
You can't just walk into a foreign culture and try and foist your fucking beliefs on someone without understanding what that culture is. But
that's right. And it's so oftentimes it's so starkly different than what you would expect it would be because of your lens of American exceptionalism, which every American has to some degree. We have to. Well, I mean, it would be an exceptional thing to say. We have to because we're Americans, right?
We do.
But yeah, kind of.
You
right.
kind of do. Yeah. It's not like, it's kind of cool. Like Superman doesn't get it.
Right.
He doesn't understand the homeless guy.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
He doesn't. How can he? And I'm not saying we're superheroes, but that, to my point before, we were talking about this before, that something very American is the cowboy and the superhero. I don't know if they were superheroes before America came about, but I'm pretty sure America was the first came up with that whole concept.
Yeah.
Like someone, don't worry about it. Someone's going to come and fucking save you. The fucking cavalry. The cavalry is going to come and save you. It's in every fucking John Wayne movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And that's a cool thing about America. And that's how we see ourselves. We are the cavalry. We're going to come and save everyone. But this is what kills me about all these motherfuckers that are like, yeah, we're a bad motherfucking nation. Like, we have some issues. Don't get me wrong. That's kind of my point. But who the fuck else is gonna, like, these guys that are all concerned about climate change and they hate this country? I think we need to do something about it. I really, like, that's an issue. I'm not discounting that whatsoever. But if America loses its place of power, who the fuck is going to be worried about climate change? Switzerland? Yeah, but what the fuck are they going to do? The Chinese don't give a fuck. You know, like, who's going to be worried about the fucking important things?
Yeah. And I don't think that the average American, I think they understand that. I think most of us can remember before the wall collapsed and remembered what it was like being locked in that dual polar world between us and Russia. But
I don't know if many of us do though anymore, bro. That was a while ago.
right. And I mean, we were kids, right? I mean,
Yeah.
God, how old was I? 10 when the wall fell, something like that.
Nah, that was a bit
Maybe.
ago. That's when we still like had movies like what the fuck was the name of it? Fuck, I forget. But it was about nuclear war and shit. Like that was an expectation. Like this is how the world's gonna end.
Yeah.
And now we're back to square one, which is kind of hilarious. So
yeah, we keep coming full circle back to it. I mean, I guess that's so I think it has to do, I'm going to go deep here, all right, but I think it has to do with tribalism. And I think that's one of our greatest things to overcome as Americans, as America, is to overcome our tribalism, because we all have it. We're doing it right now. You and I having this conversation is a display of tribalism, you know. And it has nothing to do with us both being white. It has to do with, you know, our vocation. And you see that delineated across so many different cultures that have come into America, but we're not meshing with those other cultures, you know. I mean, like, tell me what language does an American speak? Who's an American? Who's their God? What's their religion? What's an American's? Tell me something culturally that's just culturally American, and you can't pinpoint one thing to any demographic.
Brilliant point.
And we tend, so we're living in I would call this a chaotic information environment. The 24-hour news cycle is gone. What is being reported isn't ground truth, and people know that. So what do people do when there's obvious misinformation at play and they don't know who to trust? They gravitate quickly towards their tribe, towards who they trust. So it's the same. So you know, you've got the extremes on our two-party system. You've got the Republicans and the Democrats, and they're both clinging tight to their virtues right now.
Because it's the only way they get fucking elected.
Right.
Yeah, the only way you can get elected is to polarize yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
To polarize the people. And so that's my problem with social media, is it's designed to, those memes are designed to make you either laugh your ass off or be pissed off, you know? And it's my point is they're designed to give you that emotional response very quickly, very visceral response, you know, and that's not good, because
that's American pragmatism, first order of effects right there. That's a great point. Yeah. It's like, how can I get the fastest thing? It's fucking the drive-through. How can I get something at the fucking McDonald's drive-through? I want it right now. This is what I want. And in fact, there's like a serotonin boost every time you get someone to comply with or respond to your opinion, whatever. But you know, it's hard. I don't really like saying it's like the media, or well, the media is a little bit different, because the media, if you're talking about the primary channels of communications as you were discussing, which most people don't actually subscribe to that anymore, so they do default back to their tribe.
Right.
Social media has taken over, but that is very the whole basis of that is an ego thing. The whole basis of social media is like, how many people can I get to pay attention to what the fuck I have to say?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is once you get there, this is what kills me about becoming whatever famous or whatever. whether it's social media or otherwise. Okay, you're vying for attention. I get it. I mean, fuck, right now I'm doing a fucking podcast. I want people to fucking read my book. I want people to hear what I have to say. But the reason is because I think maybe someone's been through some shit that needs to hear what I have to say. What kills me is when I don't care how you get there, whether it's your fucking, you get to fake being a badass if you're an actor, or you got fucking great fingernails and you fucking splash that shit all over social media, whatever. Okay, you have our attention. So, okay, you have our attention. We're all sitting there watching. You're at the Oscars and you get up there and you get your fucking award. What the fuck do you, okay, you have our fucking attention. Now tell us something.
Nothing.
You have nothing to fucking say.
Nothing to say. No message.
You have nothing worth listening to fucking say.
And I see it. I guess I knew it at some level, but I didn't really know it till I started talking to these people out here in California that it's connected, because everybody's connected to Hollywood here, right?
Yeah.
In some way, somebody's a writer, or they're, a stagehand, or they're a grip, whatever. These people live their lives, and you think I was isolated growing up in West Virginia. These people live their lives completely insular. It's almost like a cult around Hollywood. And what's dangerous about it is the impact socially and politically that a movie can have, that a writer can write this idea into a movie, and then all of a sudden it starts getting traction within the people who see it. But none of it's based in reality is my whole problem. Mm-hmm. It's all just a made up fucking story.
Well, not only that, but the people who are playing that, this kills me, dude. It fucking kills me. I see it all the time on social media. They're quoting some fucking actor from a movie. He didn't even write the goddamn line, but he said it, and now everyone's quoting him as like, he's a fucking actor, bro. I don't care how cool you look and shit. I don't care how many gun courses you know what, and God bless them. There's some great guys out there that are actors. I am not discrediting that fucking profession at all. But don't fucking talk to me like you walked in my goddamn shoes because you played a fucking sniper in some goddamn movie.
Right.
Fuck you, man.
Right.
Don't pretend that you can have a fucking voice when your whole life is to pretend to be someone else. Okay, you are great at that. And there is nothing wrong with that. And it's beautiful. And that goes all the way back to the Greeks fucking building theater and all this stuff, like Homer and the Odyssey and fucking William Shakespeare. And it's beautiful. I'm an artist. I fucking get it. But don't pin your life to someone pretending to be someone else and then make them your goddamn hero.
That's right. And as kids, like you okay, so I start like going back and dissecting how it was that I knew at such a young age.
Hold on a second. Siri's freaking out on me right now.
How I knew at such a very young age what I wanted to do with my life. And I knew that I was going to be in the warrior class somewhere. I didn't know exactly where or where that might fall to. And it wasn't real. It wasn't real till it was real, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a game in my head. A lot of people I've talked to, they say war was just a game, but it wasn't like that to me. Like I was training. I knew that the possibility was real, but it wasn't real till it was real. And I go back and I start dissecting that, and I'm like, well, First Blood. My parents let me watch First Blood. They let me read it first, actually.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a book first.
Oh yeah.
Did you read the book before it was a movie?
Yeah.
No shit.
I read the book before I saw it. So it came out
okay.
before, but I think
That's back when we read books and shit.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and it was.
If you haven't read a book, you should try it. It's pretty awesome.
It is. I've got
Highly
books
recommend it.
everywhere, all over my house. I love reading. And then it like, the whole Steven Seagal like craze in the 90s, where he is the ex-special SEAL Ranger recon guy, in every movie, who's now an alcoholic detective. Just that whole cheesy action movie thing. Well, I started getting this construct in my head of, based on that, what it was like, what it was going to be like, and it was of course not. I mean, what a ridiculous thought, right? But
dude, I think there's something there.
Right.
Like, you kind of know, maybe not in the 80s, we didn't. I mean, can you imagine?
We didn't know shit.
Like Scorpion and all these stupid ass fucking action movies, and then, we made parodies of them. One of my favorites is fucking Hot Shots, fucking Charlie Sheen. I fucking love that guy. Everyone hates him. I fucking love Charlie Sheen. I think he's hilarious.
I do too.
He's the most real motherfucker.
I think he's real. Exactly.
He's the only real person in all of Hollywood.
Yeah.
If I had that much money at that age, I would have done the same goddamn thing. I would have. I'd have like hypocephalic whatever AIDS. Like I'd have every fucking STD you can imagine if I was a 24-year-old guy with that much cash floating around. So anyway, we kind of came out of that as a culture. We kind of started realizing how silly it was, and that funny enough, it's reflected through art, through Hollywood. We started making parodies of these things, but at the bottom of it, like, why I joined the military? I watched Top Gun. I wanted to be a fucking fighter pilot.
Is it right?
Yeah, I was actually I almost got into the Naval Academy, but I was, like I told you, I grew up in Indonesia, so I got nominated and everything. Congressman nominated me and all that shit, but the hospital there didn't have fucking an EKG or whatever the fuck, I forget. But my medical record was incomplete, so I didn't get appointed, and I fucking killed me.
Yeah, I bet.
So anyway, I came back to the States, and I applied. Well, they sent me a letter. They're like, you should apply again. Excuse me. And so I did. And again, the fucking hospital lost my med record or whatever the fuck. And I did get in the Naval Academy. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. God damn it. I'm joining the fucking Marines. Fuck this. And then I'll go be a fighter pilot. And, I thank God for that, because, and I have all respect for pilots that still do. I fucking love aviation and shit. Because when I grew up flying around the jungle in fucking Cessna 185s and Super Cubs and shit like that, it's just, I fucking love that shit. I actually want to get back into it. And by the way, I've heard from other veterans that is, if you want to be free and fucking get away from everything and just have a release that's not drug induced, thank God for the VA, but you push out too many meds. Sorry.
Yeah, you do.
You want to just fucking experience a little release, go fucking start flying. Get into aviation.
I agree.
and actually, that's still on my bucket list. I still want to do that.
I just went 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
It's gorgeous.
It's amazing,
gorgeous
right?
flying out here. Yeah.
And I love like all the shit that makes people freak out in an airplane when you like drop down like 200 feet all of a sudden. Like, I love that shit.
Me too.
It's like, it reminds me of being in a parachute, right? Flying over a fucking a road or something with a or an airstrip or something. It's like, holy shit, that uncertainty. Like, but it's the uncertainty and then knowing like, I got to fix this right now or I'm gonna die.
Right.
I'm in charge of my fucking mortality. I don't know. There's something about that, and there's something about aviation, I think, that brings that back out in you. And I still love that, but I didn't do it. I wasn't able to do it. So I joined the Marines, and I was going to go back in. My plan was to go back to the Naval Academy and finish that up. And then I got into recon. And then I started jumping out of fucking airplanes and shit. And They're just fucking terrifying as fucking low level. God bless the 82nd Airborne. You guys are fucking retards with fucking big balls. I prefer free fall. Thank you very much. But man, you guys have nuts that clang together because literally, because you fall through the air, you bounce against each other as you fall into the ground. So kudos to the airborne. But I preferred the free fall stuff. Once I got into that. But
can I pause that thought for 1 second? I had a question for you.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So and this is based off of something that I've witnessed in my wife being a pastor's kid, is how incredibly disciplined she is in life. Do you attribute any of your success to discipline, and do you attribute that discipline to your upbringing? And do you?
Okay, so to go back, because we didn't talk about this on this thread.
Right.
My dad is a pastor. I grew up as a missionary kid. And that's a very good question. But I'm probably the most undisciplined missionary. Pastors' kids are notoriously rebellious because most, I'm not going to ever shovel shit on the church because I still believe in Jesus. Absolutely. But I just don't think it's what everyone thinks of it as.
I get you. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And until I was in this family, I didn't question it ever.
Yeah.
Now it matters.
But my parents, even when they were missionaries, my dad was more like an Indian fighter, like a wild motherfucker. Like they just went out in the jungle and no shit would hump through the jungle and with a ruck on. So this is how it worked. They'd get in their Super Cub or Cessna 185 and they'd fly around the jungle and look for smoke. Everyone thinks Christians are pussies. And I don't blame them, actually. I really don't. Most Christians are pussies. Sorry. But a lot of you guys are.
Yeah.
Gotta fucking get over it. But the people who really believe in Jesus, like because you've needed to believe in Jesus, and you know who I am. I mean, you know who you are when you're like, hey, I can't do this by myself. I need something that's greater than me. And that's when you meet Jesus. Like it's not some fucking fluffy fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's the real shit.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when you meet God.
Yeah.
The guy in the fucking trench, or the woman who's being raped, or the fucking someone who's being tortured mentally or physically or what have you. That's when you meet God, right? That's when you're like, hey, I can't fucking do this shit by myself. Are you fucking real or not?
Right.
That's when he fucking shows up. He'll show up before that if you ask him, but if that's the only time you ask him, he'll fucking show up. If you believe that if you fucking ask him, he'll fucking show up. And my dad was like that kind of a guy. He wasn't Jesus. He didn't believe in Jesus because he was such an awesome person. He believed in Jesus because he needed to know, like, hey, someone's got my back. Right. And this is a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
I've studied that fucking book. Right, this book right here. I've studied this book for many reasons. To see if it was full of shit. Like, what's fucking going on with this thing? It's 1600 fucking, no, it was written over 1600 years by like 62 different authors. And it fucking it works somehow. And none of those very few of them knew each other while they were writing it. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's the best-selling book in history. Do you really think God's not gonna write a bestseller? Like, but that aside, I don't want to preach at all.
You're fine.
I'm never gonna tell anyone. But literally, I'm never gonna tell anyone what to believe ever.
Mm.
If you don't arrive there on your own then you probably don't believe it.
Right. And everybody on this fucking planet needs to hear that message right now, because everybody is doing it. I've been doing it to
Everyone's
some
telling
degree.
you what to fucking believe.
Everybody's telling you
Everyone's telling you what to believe,
think.
who to hate, who to love. Like, fuck that, man.
They want to
You
control.
figure that shit out for
Everybody
yourself.
is trying to control everybody else's behavior. And the only person that you can ever control, and even then it's only like halfway, it's like half-assed, right, is yourself. And that's such a struggle. It's so much easier if I just say, hey, Jason.
I can't control myself for shit. Only by the grace of God that I fucking, oh my God, yeah. So, okay, so back to your question. Does that have anything to do with, like, you know, a discipline or whatever? I think I don't think so. I think I joined the Marine Corps because I wanted to go to war. Because I want to know who the fuck I am.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I think we all seek that.
Yeah.
And for me, I thought I was a pussy.
Yeah, me too.
I was a little kid. I was a tiny kid. I got beat up all the time.
Yeah.
I got fucked with, beat up, like made fun of. I was a little chubby fat kid. And I wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't a pussy. And my dad exemplified this to me of, if it ain't fucking true, don't fucking believe in it. You know? And so I wanted to know, okay, so as far as as far as the whole biblical thing is concerned, he wasn't your normal missionary. Actually, a lot of the other missionaries didn't like him. Like I said, he was kind of a wild man, but
because he wasn't
he wasn't like a super legalistic, like, you kids can't dance with each other, they can't swim in the same. I mean, there's some weird shit going on in this fucking, you know, you think of the Southern Baptist type. He wasn't Southern Baptist, but this whole boys and girls can't be in the same swimming pool, they can't walk. There are Christian colleges out there that you can't walk on the same sidewalk with a girl.
I know.
Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
It blew my mind. So my wife's brother went to one of these colleges, and he got, like, I guess it's okay to talk about. He got expelled. No.
That would have been a good one.
Just like
I was hoping
watching
for that.
like secular, I can't say this word. Secular movies. They weren't like bad movies either. They were just not Christian movies.
I know. I've been through that.
And he had
the first Top Gun I watched, we had all the swear words dubbed out of it. Like, what are you going to do? Protect your kids so much that they all of a sudden just, what are they going to do? Where are they going to live?
And you're not going to, here's the
your
thing,
womb?
Your kids, oh my gosh. And I went through this as a parent. I'm sure you did too. You get this idea in your head that you're responsible for who this kid becomes and how well adjusted they become in life. And nothing could be further from the truth. Like, you think every little thing that you're doing early on in that kid's life has such a significant impact later on. But the truth is they have their own personality. They have their own spirit. And they're going to be whatever it is that they are made to be.
Exactly. And it's not just your kid, it's the whole fucking future culture, dude.
That's right.
Remember when you're Generation X? Me too, right?
Yeah.
I remember when Generation X was like, fucking Beastie Boys and all these fucking assholes. I mean, Beastie Boys were pretty gnarly telling kids stories about like that was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it kind of, I think it kind of egged us along to be like, hey, fuck you, baby boomers. But my point is, each generation creates their own future, man. You can't push that on them. Now, you can guide them, like, and I've written stuff about this and been misunderstood about it, actually. I call it the first article I wrote it's called The Decrying of the Next Generations. And I changed that because the point of the whole thing was that you can teach genius. You can teach how to think. But if
Yes, you can.
and like look at Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, they were all students of each other.
Right.
It's just a fucking coincidence that three fucking brilliant geniuses were students of one another. They just happened to fucking be in the same. No, it's not because of what they taught. It's about how they taught each other to think. It's not about what you know. It's about how you think about what you know. God damn it. You have to know the shit first to think about it, but then you have to know how to fucking think about it.
Right.
And that's the best thing we can teach our future generations. How do you think about what you know? We try and teach them what to know. Bro,
yeah.
You teach your kids how to fucking shoe horses. That's great.
100 years ago.
But look, we don't ride goddamn horses anymore. You don't teach them what to think, teach them how to think about what they know, right? No. So I don't know, total. We've been on a total fucking rabbit trail.
It's all right.
This whole fucking thing is
all right.
I love it. But
I mean, you have to have a chaotic brain to work in the chaotic space, right? To be able to thrive in that space, your brain has to be able to do.
I think this is an influence of fucking shitload of gunfights. We haven't been on any single topic for more than 30 seconds, and I love it. But I think that's important, dude. You have to be able to when you can switch gears that fast, you can apply what you've learned about something way over here to something way over here. You start connecting those dots, and you can start saying, hey, this that I learned about, for example, the first ambush I was in, the reason I lived through that ambush is because I had been in dive school many years before and had someone hold me underwater and punch me in the solar plexus, and I couldn't fucking breathe. And the only way to survive that was to not panic and slow everything down. You know this. You've been here. All of a sudden, snap, 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 snap. Like the first response is, holy fucking shit! Like just vomit out chaos and panic. Yep. That's your first. But there's a fucking cunt hair of a second in there that you have a choice. And the choice is, I can take control of this, or I can give into it.
Right. And
when I was being held underwater, getting punched in the solar plexus, that is what taught me how to live through a gunfight.
Right.
And I didn't know that until I was in my first ambush and was like, holy fuck. And right about the you part in the fuck was when I realized, okay, I've been here before. I know what this is. I can connect these disparate dots. Mm-hmm. I need to take control of this. Calm the fuck down. If I panic, I'll die. I know that. And deal with the situation. If you think about, it's like riding a fucking dirt bike. If you think about what could go wrong, it's going to fucking happen. If you think about what you're doing, you might still get shot in the fucking forehead. I don't fucking know.
It's possible.
It's very possible. But if you're thinking about it, you're probably gonna, because you're not going to be shooting the guy that's about to shoot in the forehead. Right. So I think there's a lot of different types of thinkers. But I think those of us who've been through some like pretty heinous shit, and I'm not just talking about combat. I'm sorry for you guys that like watch this shit and are like, man, you guys are only talking about veteran shit. No, it's not, man. This is life.
Right. It is life.
It applies to everything.
Right. The difference is somebody who's been to combat understands that there's this animal inside of us who's always trying to get control. Always. The animal's trying to do whatever the animal is trying to do at that moment.
Dude,
you have this do you have this divine spark in you too? This thing that is of God, this thing that is all order, all control, and all peace too, because it's the calm in the middle of the chaos, right? And that's the part of your mind. You can call it the id or whatever, but I call it the animal, and I call it the God.
I call it the beast.
Yeah, because
I've written shit about this, or the dragon.
yeah, you called it the dragon, right? Yeah. I read that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dichotomy that and peace isn't what people think it is. Peace isn't happiness. No. Peace is that clarity. I think it's clarity in the middle of something chaotic. And I think that's what we all seek. We think we seek money. We think we seek fame. We seek peace. But you don't have to have calm to have peace.
That's right.
Clarity. The clarity.
Well, you can't have peace without the chaos. I mean, it would have no. You can't have
stealing the fuck out of that. You can't have peace without the chaos.
You can't. I mean, you can't have.
At least you can't fucking discover what the fuck it is. You might be a fucking Zen Buddha monk motherfucker sitting on goddamn Machu Picchu smoking a joint with fucking 3 tabs of acid and be peaceful. That that ain't peace.
But would you appreciate it?
Exactly.
Could you appreciate it?
Peace is the clarity, my friend. Peace is the clarity. Yeah.
I mean,
it's the cold drink of water.
Yeah.
In the desert.
Yeah. It's the simple things. Yeah. I had a thought and it left me. That's what I get from being.
You need to write that shit down, bro.
I do. I need to get back to journaling. I used to journal like every deployment. And when talking about PTSD, I think that's one of the things that helped me to maybe overcome it a little bit quicker was after every patrol, after every mission, every whatever, I would come back and I would write, and immediately I could start divorcing the emotion from the memory of that. And today I can think back to the most horrific times, and there's no emotion. Sounds bad, right? But it's not. No, dude, I guess there's emotion, but there's
that's
not.
What I do. The worst part about that shit is like I should be fucking more ashamed, or I should be more sad, or I should be more horrified.
Right. Yeah. Guilt.
I remember seeing a carload of kids. They hit a telephone pole. And I just all these little spider webs on the windshield. And I just drove right past, and I was like, that I didn't. The fact that doesn't bother me more bothers me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Because
I don't know.
You unless you're a complete sociopath, right? You lose a little bit of yourself.
Yeah.
Every time you take a life. Well, okay, I speak from my paradigm. It's the only one I can speak from, right? With any authority. But I think this is true. I was talking to an NSW buddy of mine, and he was talking to guys. He was talking about guys that he went through buds with, who were like the class clowns, right? And now they were like in dev group, doing these direct action missions all the time. And he said they're just they're dead. You look in their eyes and they're fucking dead. I don't want that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't want that either. I want to enjoy my life. It's hard enough. It's hard enough now.
I know, dude.
Right? I mean, could you
I
imagine?
I know exactly what you're talking about because I know a lot of guys that have been through that shit. That have been through have been tier 1 or it doesn't even matter. The grunts, dude. The grunts had it fucking worse than anyone. And all this fucking special operations bullshit, whatever. I can jump out of a fucking fuck you, man. You got 18 months in fucking Iraq. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And you're gonna not change?
Yeah. That's right.
And I don't see any, by the way, I don't see any fucking support groups out for them. Navy SEAL Foundation, Special Forces Foundation, Marine Force Recon Foundation, fucking blah, 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 blah. I don't see any fucking thing for the goddamn grunts. It pisses me off because they did most of the shit. We did 3-month fucking deployments, man. 18 fucking months. Are you goddamn kidding me?
Yeah.
It makes me,
yeah. No,
I think we're supporting the wrong people, man. That's why these guys are putting guns in their mouths.
It's part of it, I think. Yeah. I mean, from 9/11 until I turned 30. I turned 30 on this hilltop just north of Singen. And I'm sitting there and I'm wondering like where the last 9 years went. And it was all deployment. It was deployment. Just boom, 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 you know?
Yeah.
Gone for 6 months, come back for 6 months, gone for 6 months. I mean, and next thing I know, I'm here and I'm turning 30 years old. And I don't know. I think that's when I resolved that it was time to go be a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you, brother.
But there's still an itch.
I know.
There's still that itch.
I know. There's nothing like fucking being. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So when I was turning 40, I thought I'll go to the queue because I can still go to the queue at 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
I told you that I did the same thing.
You did?
I joined 20th Special Forces group in Alabama because I wanted to do the long walk.
Yeah.
And I was 37?
Yeah.
38, yeah. I wanted to get back in. I wanted to fucking that shit. It just never fucking goes away.
Yep. Well,
and never will.
I joined the Guard, and which turned out to be mostly Marines, weirdly.
Those bastards.
And was talking to the recruiter, and he's like, look, my man, when you show up to the safari, you better be running a sub 12. If you're not running a sub 12, we don't even want to talk to you. We don't care about how fast you run after that. We want to see if you can do this. Mm-hmm. So at 39, that's not an easy task.
Yeah.
That's not.
I took the fucking selection for the long walk. And yeah, I cooked it in under a 12, but that was the same deal. Yep. I don't know how the fuck I did that, by the way. Right now, I'd be fucking fuck you.
Well, I mean, this has only been 3 years ago now.
Oh shit.
Something like that. Yeah. I don't think I could do it now though. It's 2 more years, like 2 more years of serious lifting has put that much strain back on my body. I was down to I had to get down to 170-ish. I'm 200 right now.
How tall are you?
Over 5'9".
Yeah,
I gotta be small to do it.
Yeah.
So I go through this. I train hard for it. Like I'm dedicated. I'm like, the only way that I fail this is if I fucking die, was my mindset.
That's how you do it. And by the way, if you want to fucking do that shit, that's exactly you have to think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether you're fucking 18 or otherwise. If you want to go into special operations, that's the only way you can think, because it's true. If you can't run that fast, you're gonna fucking die. or you're gonna make your buddies have to drag your ass along, and that's even worse. Making someone like, come on, you can do it. That's the worst thing you can have. If you ever hear that in your life and you're in special operations, just leave. Go away. You can fucking do it. Fuck you. Go away. Go home, and you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You have to pull your own weight, so they don't have to pull it for you.
Right. That's right. Because the mission's too important at that level.
You're goddamn right. There's only a few of you guys, and you don't ever want to be a burden. That's the worst thing you can ever do to anyone.
Well, so it was like a day or two maybe before I was supposed to go up to Roberts to do the safari, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my wife. We've been married like 4 years at that point, and I'm like, I think I just found my Achilles heel. Because while I would have been fine with this with my ex-wife, it was the norm. My wife now has never been through this. She's never been exposed to that life.
Dude.
And I don't think that I want to, I mean, first off, she's a good person. She's an incredible person, like incredible character. She's patient. She's loyal. I don't worry about her like cheating on me. And she's hot. She's 10 years younger than I am.
My wife's fucking hot as fuck. Yeah, she's like 17 years younger than me, bro. It's ridiculous. I don't deserve that shit.
And
thank God for my great hair. It's like
I'm sitting here thinking, I could do this. I mean, I could go to the and I fully believe that I would have made it too. No issues, anything. But did I want to really, is this the life I really wanted? Or did I want a fucking hat? Did I want a title? Was it ego? Was it really about like wanting to go live the life? Or was it that I wanted credibility and shit talking rights and whatever? Here's the thing though. It's not like, it's not like, you know, my career was, I don't know, like a pogue or something in an air wing unit, or I don't know.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
You didn't have some shit to live up to.
It's not like I hadn't already done it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sitting there thinking, like, what am I trying to prove here? That I'm hard? That I can do this? Should I do this? Is this right for my marriage? I said, no, it's not. It's not, because this is going to destroy this closeness we have right now. I'm going to come back a year later and be a different person, and she's going to be a different person. And I'm going to be back at square one, man, because maybe she won't quit. Maybe she won't leave me, but we'd be living in this weird space, you know? And so I decided not to do it.
You know, that's crazy, because like my wife, I fucking love her so much. She's my best friend.
That's awesome.
Which is fucking crazy. I actually didn't think that was possible before I met her. She's been through hell worse than me, which I think is why we've both been through some shit. But I've thought about it too. And you know, the only thing I've seen to this day that can drag, I mean, I shouldn't say the only thing, but one of the most powerful things you can find to get you past this war shit, whether it's post-traumatic stress or whether it's just, I just want to go back and prove something to myself. Those are insecurities, man.
Right. They are.
Is to find someone who fucking accepts you, man.
Right. Not in spite of your faults, but because of your
open arms. Like,
right.
hey, doesn't fucking matter. I love you.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck, bro. I didn't think that shit existed.
It does.
By the way, if you're in a relationship and you don't have that, then fucking bounce.
Yeah. You can tell the weirdest, kinkiest shit in your brain to, and they don't look at you cross-eyed.
Exactly.
That's
dude.
the person you want.
And you and you don't think that's real, and it's real.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, chicks are way more kinky than dudes, so don't start that.
Don't try to. Yeah.
Like once you break that fucking, once you break that shell, don't even start. Dudes are all like, "Oh, I'm a crazy motherfucker." No, you aren't. No,
you're vanilla, dude.
Yeah, exactly. You will find a chick that will just scare you.
Yeah,
and that's the right one.
Yeah, that's the right one.
Like
that's
whether
right.
it's sexual or any other way, and if you don't have a sexual fucking connection, then fuck off. But in every fucking way too. If you can't just like walk in and see your fucking spouse drinking a fucking dirty martini at fucking 9 o'clock in the morning and be like, "Hey, what's up, baby? How you doing? I love you." Like, and not judge them at all because you don't fucking care because like maybe they're going through some shit. I mean, fuck, I drink dirty martinis 9 in the morning all the time. But if that's something that you would otherwise find something to be judgmental about, man, go get someone else.
Yeah.
Dude, we're going back to the divorce thing. I see it happening. We're spiraling back to that. I think that's the main thing. I couldn't be me. I couldn't be me around that person. I had to like pretend to be someone else in it. And they couldn't be them either.
Yeah. Which isn't fair to anybody.
Exactly. And so no matter what the pain that we put each other through, my question to them would be right now, are you happier now with who you're with? And their answer would be definitively yes, with vehemence. And mine would be yes too. And so I would say it's a win.
Yeah.
So you know what? Actually, I actually wish I would have left my ex-wife sooner. Because I would not have created all the damage that I have created. As soon as I saw those earmarks of like, hey, this is, I didn't have the balls.
Yep. And it takes it. Yep.
Because I'm a special operations dude. I'm a Marine. I'm a whatever. I'm a fucking whatever.
Yeah.
I will stay in the fight. I will never quit. I will, dude, it doesn't fucking always work that way.
That's right. It doesn't work that way in war either. Like sometimes
you got to
have to know when to break contact.
Set up your claymores and fucking break contact.
Right.
Exactly. You have to know when. So you can go back another day and kill all those motherfuckers. Didn't think of it that way before you said it. I know
insightful.
This is a strange way to fucking end this, but I think we're gonna have to pretty soon because we've been going on for a while.
Have we? How long have we been going?
Jesus, fuck, at least an hour.
Yeah.
Can't tell. But we got to bounce, man. I love talking to you, man. We'll do this again. These are important things. Maybe, maybe the two of us will have other people on sometime too. I'd like to interrogate other motherfuckers with you.
Hey, do you know Rick Lamlin?
Mm-mm.
You don't? I thought maybe you guys had served together.
No. But dude, if you have any buddies or whatever you want to,
well, yeah, actually, yeah.
Let's I would be more than happy to get several of us on here talking about the stuff, because this is the real shit. We're not, there's no fucking Obviously, no sugarcoating here. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Well, I got this one friend that he always busts my balls, right? Like, I'll tell you this because it had a bearing on what you were saying earlier in the week. Before you go, he's older. He's a lot older than me. He's like 55, I think, something like that. He was in Mogadishu. And he has this nonprofit called Project 2.0. And it's designed for veterans who want to become entrepreneurs, and teams them up with a mentor who is in their field for what they want to start a business in. Seems like a great concept. Well, so he's mentoring me, and I'm asking him question after question after question after question, and he gets pissed off. He's like, "You sound like a fucking like brand new sergeant in a leg unit. You need the perfect plan." He's like, "Just go fucking execute it." And I got pissed off, which immediately let me know that what he was saying had a lot of validity, because I got pissed off, right? But he doesn't pull punches either. Yeah, I'd like to bring him on.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
He's a cool guy.
All right, Marcus, let's do
All
it.
right, man.
Dude, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, fuck. My pleasure, brother. Let's do it again, okay?
All right.
Good. All right. Well, thanks for watching fucking The Perfect Fucking Life with Marcus Sylvanus. Man, I really enjoyed and learned a lot from you, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having. I'm really glad that I reached out and randomly sent that message to you the other day.
Yeah, man. My fucking pleasure. It's a travesty when you have a conversation with someone and you don't learn something from them.
Yeah, it is. It's such a waste of such a waste of time and mental energy, and
Yeah.
and the mental energy is very finite at our age.
It is, dude.
It really is.
It's weird, but I heard it said that what youth is wasted on youth is wasted on the young or some shit.
Right. Youth is wasted on the young. Yeah.
But I've also heard it said that wisdom is wasted on the old.
Yep.
Like, there's some people I know that have never changed since they were 25 years old.
I want to talk about that next time. I was just reading something out of the scientific community that was explaining why, and it has to do with an addiction cycle. I was talking to you about it in that message. You can rewire the brain, though, to break that. And I've got an idea about how to do it.
Okay, well, we need to talk about that shit, because that's a huge thing for guys like us. We have to have stimulus all the time. We always have to have something to fucking stimulate us, or else we go fucking crazy.
Right.
So, all right, brother, man. I can't thank you enough. It's good.
Thanks.
Good,
Yeah.
Good to meet you. Good to know you. And we'll do this again soon. Okay.
Absolutely. All right, man.
Brother, you have a good night, my friend.
Take it easy.
All right, you too, brother. Out here.
All right, bye.